Hey everybody. I am going to just jump into this in a second. Let me know if my audio is off. Hold on a second. Try not to cough into the mic here. Okay. All right. So, as always, I just want to start and do a very quick test to make sure everything works before we get into this. We have Zaxour's mod. We have the power supply that's recommended. Let's eject. Okay, if we see up here, well, I mean, at the very least, it's powering on, but let's just make sure that everything's working. I should get a controller for this. Or I may have actually bought the remote. I don't remember. Let me go check. Okay, funny enough. So, my friend who owns this LaserActive, I actually have two Laserdisc players from him. One is this, and the other is one that it's going to be modded for Doomsday, and there are actually two remotes, and I couldn't figure out which is which. So this is the LaserActive remote. Come on, focus here, camera. And this is the one for the other one. So, gotta make sure I get that right. Hey, Frostcone, how you doing? So I wonder if I could hit play with this or something, or if this is just for. Oh, I did just hit play on this remote, and it appears that it's probably playing. I could hear it spinning up. I'm actually thinking of putting the 14-inch PVM here instead, so when I do these streams, you'll have a little bit more to look at here. All right, so this is obviously working. I'll do an actual demo of it after the fact. I just wanted to make sure that everything is working as it should before I started out, because I have made that mistake many times, including this exact scenario, in that I used this months ago for the live stream. I haven't touched it since, and I go to do a mod on it, and it doesn't work. And it's because I never actually tested it. Something must have just happened. Not this one, I'm just saying in the past when I make those mistakes. So, pause, eject. None of this stuff working? All right, so I guess the remote doesn't work, or maybe doesn't work in LaserActive mode, but neither do these buttons up here. It's not ejecting, but it's still actually playing. All right, when in doubt, power off. Okay. By the way, I don't know if this is overkill, but I'm putting my friend's laser discs in these Mophie sleeves to just help any kind of degradation. Does anybody know? I mean, it can't hurt, that's for sure, but they're meant for vinyl records. So is there any. Am I just wasting money throwing them in there, or is this a smart move? Or is there some insane reason why I actually shouldn't do that, which I genuinely couldn't even think of a single reason, but whatever. Hey, Baby Yaga. Alright, so I'm going to unplug this sucker. I'll power off my PVM. So the purpose of this is a friend of mine has the same theory that I do about this, in that his LaserActive is working perfectly at the moment. In fact, Zaxour was the one that redid this entire thing, which is why it's working perfectly. So the theory is, well, why would you continue to use something that has a part that's definitely going to die at some point, because all power supplies will, when there's alternatives available? So my friend is having me very carefully take out this power supply, put in Zaxour's USB PD power supply, and then when I ship this over, this gets archived back. So if anything ever happens, you still have the original. You still have the original for archiving perspectives and all that. And it's not cheap, but neither is anything LaserActive related. All right. Also, you might notice this. I, very stupidly, thought, well, why don't I get a Doomsday RF tap installed into this LaserActive so you could rip LaserActive discs with a LaserActive? Yeah, that was dumb. I didn't do my research beforehand, and this is not at all the best unit for that. And in fact, there's some reasons why it could actually be dangerous. You could break, I forgot what it was called, but you could break the thingy that the tracks backwards. So I'm gonna see if I could easily remove this. Oh, and excuse that, it's just a yearly checkup. Nothing bad. Although when I went to the lab today, I was so proud of myself, because every time I got your yearly tests are, now that I'm over 40, it's definitely yearly. It used to be every couple of years. But they always have me pee in a cup. And every time it's just like, oh man, I peed before I left the house. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to remember to hold it. Make sure to drink enough water. And then, of course, you always drink too much water. I get there. They stab me. I'm like, okay, good. Can we do the pee thing? And she's like, that's not on your chart. You don't need to do that. I'm like, no! I tried so hard. Careful. This thing's worth more than me. Okay. So we have to take a few things apart to get to this. Let me just verify Zaxour's instructions. I never have to have an ego about this. I don't mind referencing instructions and seeing if I'm wrong. So the instructions are remove original power supply. All right. Well, hold on a minute then. So I think I have to take that main plate off. All right, let me just see. I'm guessing here. But I assume what I need to do is eject the tray, which I could probably do carefully here. I think that's all I would need to do. So I'm actually going to plug it back in order to do that, and I'll give you all a better view. This is just a guess, but I don't think I'm going to harm anything, so let's see. Eject. can see the laser mechanism moving around. Yeah, that's all I think I needed to do. So let me obviously unplug the power. And this looks like extremely easy access. So I'll get the camera over so you all can see. Little bit of a shaky cam here, I guess. Let me just get this down so y'all can see the view. So that, oh, hold on. Tighten up the camera there, Bob. All right. So all I did was eject, the tray ejected like that, and as you can see, you could access everything that's needed here. So I'm going to do the power supply first, and then I'm going to look into the RF tap, and if that's under too much, I'll just leave it, because there's no harm in leaving it. It would be nice to remove it, just to not have something else sticking out the back. You know, just a constant reminder of my unfortunate ignorance to that. All right, so let's see. Oh, Baby Yaga. I should have checked the chat first. Yeah, I was just looking. Sometimes these things have release mechanisms and stuff like that. So let me check out the Zaxour one on camera. Comes with the 3D printed bracket and stuff. And let me zoom out a little bit so y'all can see it a little better. All right, so this is the module. And this is just going to sit right in its place here. So that all seems very easy. I just have to very carefully unplug 1, 2, 3 connectors. There's a fourth connector here, though. Ooh, okay. And there's another one down there. So, do I have to get like all my pairs of glasses to be able to see this thing properly? Let's just show. And if Zaxour is around, maybe I'll bother him to verify, because this is not my LaserActive. I cannot afford one of these. And I, most importantly, cannot afford to replace one if it's broken. So let me get this angle down a little bit better. Okay, so this is the original power supply. And there's this one main connector here, which just goes to the power out. So that obviously won't need to be replaced, because that's just the AC cable. And then there's these 3 ribbon cables, which connect to those 3 on the end. 1, 2, 3. That's pretty obvious. And then there's this one connector here, which matches up to the one connector down here. But what's this then? I'm going to just make sure I'm not going extra blind here and grab my other one. Oh, Zaxour is not available to jump on stream, but is available to answer a quick question. So I am going to send a picture. Perfect. All right, I just sent that picture over. And once again, just in case, got my extra old man glasses. Not just my old man glasses, my extra old man glasses here. I'm just going to take a close look at this board, and I don't see any place to solder them, which I don't think. Oh, wait. That might be right there. Oh, haha. I was just holding it in the wrong direction. That might be it right there. All right, I'm going to double check, but Okay, I think Zaxour just confirmed that. Yeah, well, let me take a picture. I really, I never feel dumb asking the question before I make the mistake. Because, what did I do? I just wasted a minute of his time? That's fine. Alright. Let me send this over. Okay, I can move this out of the way. All careful with the 3D printed part. And while we're waiting, I know I could just do that. So that's no problem. So that's just the AC connector. And I'll start very carefully. Yeah, I think I'm going to need some help with that. Zaxour said that's for the spindle motor, and yes, that's all we needed to do. Yak Yam, how you doing? All right, so I'm going to grab a small flathead, small pliers, and the screwdriver for the other thing. And we're going to go in. So I'm being extra careful for a couple of reasons. First, I mean, this is like 30 years old. But second, it's not mine. If this was like a standard Laserdisc player, I probably would have just, grabbed it, yanked him out, and saw what happened. But we're going to be extra careful. We got this one up here. Can you see that on camera? Sort of. Let me drop this down so y'all could see, just in case anybody else ever references this. Because while I'm obviously not the world's best modder, if I could do it, you could do it. So, let me... Okay, focus isn't working very well, but that is where we're going for right now. See if I can prop up a light or something like that. Maybe I could do this. Does that help a little? All right. Okay. We got that one. And now we're going to get the 3 ribbon cables. I'll go back to these. Right here. So is this the kind where you pull the sides down? You grip it from the side? Let's find out very carefully. Yeah, I don't know. Can you all see how that's coming up? I'm going to have to get my hand in here. I'm sorry. This isn't supposed to be a stream of my cut up hands, or I'm always out working on something, but whatever. Are we supposed to pull that up like that? Let me grab that other board. Yeah. So that's this whole thing comes up and the pins slide out like that. Well, that is just absolutely unnerving. What a terrible design. Not Zaxour's, obviously. They couldn't have just had like a standard connector on there to make it weird. Oh, I bent one of them. It should still be fine. But I got one all weird. Okay. Let's get the last one, and then I will take this out and see. Maybe I can get a little higher angle so it's less hand, more connector. Less hand, more fail. Okay. That one came up the easiest. So now I'm going to go in there, and there should just be a couple of screws. I like how there's that hole in the metal, so I can get my pliers in right here. That's a nice touch. The hole in the metal here, so I can get the pliers in to get it. Okay, careful, careful. Okay. Original. Let me zoom out. There's the original. Here's the new one. So now we have to work on getting the AC cord out. Put these 3 screws aside. I'll go back and check the chat in a second. Okay. So, how do we get this out? Looks like I take, at the very least, this screw, but it could be the 3 out. But let's check this out and see. I'm going to switch angles, a bit of a shaky cam here. Do I have to take the whole back piece off? Let me double check Zaxour's instructions, but I don't think so. Oh, using a small flathead screwdriver or hex key, press the retaining clip of the AC power cable from the underside until it's removable. Okay, so I could put this screw back in. Good. Oop. You know what? That's at a weird angle. I'm just going to use my regular screwdriver. Okay. And because there's the hole here in the side, I should be able to get at this. So let's see. Let me find a long flathead. I got 20 different Phillips heads. I think 1 or 2 flatheads, and one of them's out in my garage next to my weed whacker because I need it to wind the plastic stuff every time. Anybody who uses a weed whacker already understands the frustration of that. Wow, really? That's my only one? I guess we're going to try it with a Phillips head and see. Is this long enough? Now, what about a little longer, maybe? It's going to be impossible to get the camera in there, but I could see what Zaxour means in the instructions. Let me see if I could do it with a tiny little screwdriver instead. So there's two clips. There's one in the top, and that's super easy to press down on. I believe there's one kind of like it on the bottom as well. So let me press the top one first, then press the bottom one. No, if I do bottom first. I think that was it. I think I just had to turn the screwdriver to press it down and kind of wiggle it through. Ooh, now how do we get this out? Because I definitely don't want to cut anything. Can I get creative and do it sideways? Nope, that's too long. I guess I could remove the pins, but I don't want to do that either. Worst comes to worst, I could snip this, and then to put it back, we would just have to resolder it back in, but I don't want to do that either. So I guess I think I should undo the case a little bit and see if I could pry it apart that way. Anybody watching, let me know if you think I'm about to make a stupid mistake here, but this isn't very fragile, so I should be able to just take a few of these out and maybe pull it back slightly. Maybe. We'll find out. Yes. All right, a little bit of a wiggle. Up and through. Look at that. It's almost like I've done stuff like this before. See, if I was a real YouTuber, I would have first done this off camera, and then I would have come and done this live stream and be like, look how smart I am figuring this stuff out all by myself on the first try. Bring that back in. Okay, last one back in. All right. So this goes right in its place. That sits down there. So let's check out these pieces. There's two pieces, not just one. So one's like a retaining clip, maybe? Let's see what we got here. No, it's a Anthony. It's a USB PD solution, and I am always very wary of those. But Zaxour is one of the few people who I completely trust with that stuff. And most importantly, Zaxour recommended a name brand verified power supply to use with it. So if somebody just grabbed any USB PD power supply and tried to plug it in, I would dive across the room and be like, no! But with these, yes. All right, so I'm going to pull these stupid connectors up. What a horrible design. Once again, Pioneers, not Zaxours. And I'm going to see if I could finagle these in and then line up, because there should be plenty of room for me to line this stuff up. So let me come back at a taller angle so you could watch me probably make a mistake. And I think that's going to be like that, right? I think that's going to be... Let me check the site one more time just to make sure I'm not missing something very easy. Ah, thank you, SJF. I'm just going to reference the picture on the website. All of this is linked in the description, by the way. Okay. So, loop side up for the shroud. Or the whole side up, I guess I should say. So I'm going to put this in here. Okay, I think what I'm supposed to do, is install it and then pop this piece over the bottom to hold it into place. I think. Because it wouldn't be over the top, right? Because that would block the port, or would it? Let's see. Oh, this is going to be hard to show. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me. I just lost that thing. No, it's right here. Okay. I hope that at least got on camera, this thing flying out of my hand. So I'm still a little bit unsure as to where this bracket goes. I mean, of all the things to worry about, not a big deal. But it just pushes on the bottom to hold it into place, maybe? So I would have to install it upside down, put the thing on, and then spin it. All right, cross your fingers. No, it's not easy. It's not easy. All right. Let me double check to see if there's any other pictures or anything. Well, there's a picture of it installed from the top, and I don't see any bracket on it, so my guess has to be correct in this one. All right, well, let me try this. Let me see if my camera can adjust better like that. No, I should definitely have that on still. Okay. I think I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. But all right. Well, I'm going to try to fit this in, snap the bracket over, and then rotate it back around, so then I could then put that over. And I guess let me try to get a different angle, so if I make another stupid mistake, y'all get to watch and laugh. Pull it all the way up. Get that down. Yeah, let me lean you up against here. It's going to be a little shakier, but much funnier if I make a mistake. All right, good-ish. So it sort of went in and sort of didn't. Let me just make sure I get this a little bit better here. Try that screwdriver trick again. Nope. Well, I can't see another way to get it in and to hold it into place like that. And since there's no, since you don't see it, yeah, it's definitely rotatable. Sure. All right, let me see. Let me try this one more time this way. See what I got. Oh, that was super easy. All I had to do, hold it in place with this finger, hold the bottom of it in place with the flat part of my first finger, and press it down with my thumb, and easily rotates around. Okay. If I, like, so far, or 20 minutes I've been doing this or something, 37, jeez, I really am slow. But so far, I could turn this into 20 seconds of a YouTube short or something like that. That's how easy this has been so far. Let me zoom out. Once again, for anybody who's just joining, this is not mine, so I'm being annoyingly careful. Like, I'm treating this like it's radioactive, for all the right reasons. All right, so what I got to do with these flex cables now is make sure that all the pins are perfectly straight, and make sure they all line up, which sucks. This is a terrible, terrible design. I don't know how developers ever thought anything good could come of that. I bet you it was an evolution. I bet you the first part of this ribbon cable was like, yeah, just lay this down and solder them into the board and it'll be fine. And eventually one of them was like, hey, could we stop soldering this thing? Because it's going to cause so many problems. And they're like, all right, well, why don't I make you a no solder connector? And then they were probably like, wow, this is genius. It's a no solder connector. And then after that, somebody was probably like, hey, this is dumb. Why don't we just use an FFC connector? Who knows? I'm obviously making all that up. Okay. One down, two to go. This is very nerve-wracking. That's why, you know, all the best modders out there are either people that have been doing this themselves for so long that they have the confidence to do it, or they just have that bit of arrogance to them where they just assume they could do it, which I guess you kind of need that. Which, you know, that explains everything about Voltar, but yeah. All right, here's another one where the pins, the middle one, the pins were all weird. So I guess actually this is a good place to pause and say, do I have the space to wiggle this in? I guess I do, yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So far, so good. So now I got to get these pins straight again and lined up. And you got to, not only do you have to make sure that they're not touching, but you have to make sure that there's no frayed cable that doesn't have solder on it that's sticking out and going to smush into the next side. All right, hold on. think I got it mostly straight. I think maybe my hand just hit the connector back in a little bit. So let's try this. Let me double check the camera too. You all could sort of see this at least, right? I could zoom in a little bit more. Chris, yeah, you knew that was coming. Did you see the video that he posted about the injury on his hand? Oh my God, the video. I don't know how much of the injury he showed. That looked like it sucked. But that little note about why he was hooking up his trailer, I was laughing so hard. That was so great. That was so great. Okay, that one went in. Final one. Fingers crossed. Oh, wait, hold on. I see some pins. One pin's a little off. All right. Okay, that was terrifying. So, anybody with who's watching, if that's the right angle, might have noticed that I grabbed the capacitor in order to get a hold on it and move it over, which is a terrible idea because you could rip a cap over, rip the cap off. Except I was lightly guiding it. I wasn't using it as force. I was just using it as like the PCB was held by my hand, and then the cap was just used to guide it. So do that as little as possible whenever you're working on stuff. I guess I could have bolted this down first, but I really just wanted to get all the connectors in and then take a look. This one's a little sus. But nothing's shorting, nothing's going across. I don't see anything bridging at all. So I am going to bolt those 3 bolts in and see what happens. And I'll leave the view of the camera on the power supply, not the... Actually, no, we'll have to spin it all around and everything, so it'll be a minute. But I'll still leave the view on the power supply in case I did something wrong and we get a good spark or fire. And then I'll cry, because then I'll have to send this thing to Zaxour to repair whatever stupid mistake I made. Alright, everything is snug. It's not over tightened, but it's nice and snug. The PCB itself feels nice and tight. So let's open up the recommended PSU. Let me get my knife. I don't want to just rip and tear that apart. All right. I could back this off a little bit here. This sucker's heavy. In a good way. Doesn't feel like that cheap gas station power supply, which of course it shouldn't. I mean, this is a... Oh. Here. There's a very specific reason these things are more expensive. All right. Solid ass anchor PSU. I'm going to use the cable that it shipped with, just cuz. And we'll plug it in and see what we got. Hopefully it's long enough to reach. Yeah, long enough-ish. We'll just spin this around a little bit. All right, so let me get this shaky cam warning, everybody. I'm going to move this over so that when I plug it in, we could watch the power supply to really see if I got anything wrong here. Put that light back. I'll just hold it. All right. Here we go. I got to twist it a little bit more. Well, that's a good sign. No smoke, no fire. It actually moved. Everything looks right. Okay. So, in that case, some more shaky cam. Sorry, everybody. So, get everything in view. I'm just going to connect composite video. Let's see what we got. We don't have anything. Okay. Did it turn off? Let me see. Let me open up. Why are we not getting composite video here? Well, we go off. Back on. Oh, all right. Wait, we got something. We got something for a second there. What's going on? Is my monitor being weird? Off. Let's just wait a second here. Back on. Watch up here. It blips. All right, let's try some quick troubleshooting here. Grabbing a tank. The camera is going to go out for a second because I'm just going to connect this directly to the same capture card. Let me set the tank to 1080p. Plug this into the capture card. Okay, we can see in the upper right, HDMI no signal. Slide open that door. Okay, and grabbing the composite cable. All right, off or on. Okay, you see it? You see it glitchy? Y'all saw that, right? Okay. So there's definitely some kind of issue. I'll put the camera back the way it was now. And I'm assuming it's that one cable that looks a little funk. So camera should come back up any second now. We hope. Ah, good. All right. All right. So power it back on. eject. Yanking the power. Now let's take another look at that connector that wasn't perfect. See if I could angle this in here for you. All right. So my guess is that if there was a problem, it's not this one. It's not this one, but it's this one. Okay, there was a pin that looked a little bent, but I don't know if it was bent. Wait, where's my glasses? Why do I pretend like I'm not an old man? Okay. There was a pin that was a little funky. I don't know if it got like that just now when I pulled it out, or if I had actually missed it plugging it in, but we're going to try this again. Okay. Way less funky. Way less funky. So let's hope that was just it. Spinning this around super careful. Should probably have zoomed out first. Sorry. Okay. Sliding this back. You know, maybe. Let me, when I was moving this around, the pack got shifted. Let me just turn it on without the pack and see. Nope. I guess I could try the other flex connector too, but yeah, I'm getting crazy sync up here. All right, let's keep trying. I mentioned. So it's time to buy a Pioneer LaserActive for you or for me? For me, no, I can't afford one of these. For you, if you want to, sure, but I don't. I think you'd have to be somebody that really appreciates the experience, especially with it available on MAME now, and with the emulation that was just done. I did the whole podcast about that, which was really just a fun and impressive thing to check out. But I don't know. This is for people who love original hardware, which I know so many people who absolutely are classified as that. But I can't imagine there's any other issue here. There's no shorts. There's nothing crazy going on. Let me double check I'm not like... Aha. Oops. Yeah, there's no flex on the board or anything like that. So it's really just got to be... It's got to be some kind of ribbon cable thing. Let me check in with Zaxour. All right, well, let's camera down. Locked and loaded. Let's take a look together again. I really do hate this this cable design. Not Zaxour's. Not Zaxour's. He just copied the original. There's no way around this. Okay, it's already nice and solid. So is this. So is this. I saw one of the connectors was slightly up. Maybe that was what the issue was. I wish there was another screw right here. Once again, Pioneer design, not Zaxour's design, just to help put pressure when you're putting those flex cables down. So let's just spin around. I'll just do another quick test here. And we'll see. If that's all it was, if just the flex cable wasn't 100% in, that's actually a really good thing to note. Nah, it's still getting weird. The same exact thing as last time. I guess worst comes to worst, we could take it out and put it back in and then also try the original again. But I don't want to do any of that. Yeah, still the same thing, getting a sync issue. Every Laserdisc player. Did y'all see that? I pressed eject and it stuck, and I tapped the front and it came right out. That is every Laserdisc player right there. Every one of them. All right, let's see. Keep going here. On my piece, no, this is USB PD. It's definitely different. Hey, what's up, Leon? Leon, you ever do one of these? So it's possible this one could have been off because, can you all see that? Let me do this even slower in case we have to go back later on and check with Zaxour or something. But this piece right here, by where my thumb is, that one is shorter than the rest. But it was when I pulled it out of the other connector too. So let me just try again here. Okay, we got that all the way straight down. Connector down. Everything's tight. That one went in as well. Let me try this again. Maybe I'll try doing the same thing for each one at a time, just for troubleshooting. This is definitely, though, if I was still in the city, this is definitely the part where I would be texting crews like, hey dude, you busy? Feel like coming all the way to Manhattan for something that's probably going to take you maybe 5 minutes, and then you have to go all the way back? Okay, look up here. Still crazy? All right, let's just do them one by one. Just do them one by one. So I guess maybe it's possible that that one on the side wasn't long enough and isn't making connection. So after I check all of them, I could try to do something like, with it powered on, start poking at it. But that's always the last thing I want to do for a new piece of equipment that I'm not super familiar with. If that was like a Super Nintendo, I would have already been manhandling it, but this is not. Okay, same issue on this one, where the one all the way on the side was a little shorter than the rest, but I think they were all sort of like that. So let me just... make sure it's straightened out. But this one was in there nice and solid. I mean, y'all just saw me have to give it a little tug. There's no shorts whatsoever. Let me make sure these pins are lined up a little bit better. I mean, that looked like everything just went in there perfectly. That looked like that connector was just used the way it was supposed to be. And you know what? I'm breaking out the big boys here. Is it right here? Is this it? Yeah, alright, I'm breaking them out. I do read chat, but and in fact, I'm usually really good at staying on it. But in stuff like this, I'm really trying to pay attention to the to whatever it is I'm about to break, especially in situations like this where it's not mine, and I'm a little nervous. Axel, 60-foot analog signal. Depending on what the source is, you might want to change it to HDMI first. What's the source? Okay, let's see here. Here. All right, now, I know it might be hard for y'all to contain yourselves when you see the level of sexy that's about to go in front of the camera, but, you know, just try to keep a hold of yourself. Yeah, that's right. I did it. I broke them out. All right, let's see what we got. Ground is definitely in. I could probably test with a multimeter if we needed to, but in fact, oh, I love that these flip up. All right. Oh my God, this is like the way I used to be able to see a couple years ago. Okay, those pins all definitely are still in. These are all so solid, I don't even want to take this out yet. So what I want to do is plug this sucker in and poke around at it with my goggles on, trying to figure this out. So it's going to be a little precarious here on stream, but I'm going to do my best. Alright, we got video connected over here. Plug that USB in. Oh, come here, I'm going to need more slack. Right here. I'm going to check for... Alright, so I'm still getting video glitching. Come on, open the sucker up. Let's go. All right. Can't believe I'm not getting zapped yet. All right, with the power on, I mean, I can see the pins inside every one of these. Maybe this one? All right, well, let's get stupid. I'm going to start poking at stuff. If my friend is watching, let's hope this isn't the demise of your LaserActive. Actually, I think I know what I want to poke at it with. Where's my multimeter pins? Actually, what's the actual source, though? Because you said coax, composite, or YPVPR, but what's the source? Video game consoles, TV? All right. All right. I'm going to try going in on the side one. USB is unplugged. Let's see. I mean, this looks so super snug. Everything looked like it was in there perfectly. But that's what started to, I think that's the one that where I started to get signal wiggling. So let me try this again. All right. Oh, I love these things. This really is how I used to be able to see a couple years ago. All right. Let's plug something in. No. What the heck? I still get a glitchy signal. Come on. I'm gonna have to put the original PSU back in and test again if I can't get it on this next try. Let me. All right, multimeter time. Okay, Adrian said the first time they installed this exact adapter, it didn't work, and it turned out that one of the 800 milliamp fuses on the board itself had blown, which caused the 14-volt power supply to be missing. Huh, let me check that too. Leon, you said the two short pins are on CN3 and CN1. Okay, so is that ground or something then? They are actually ground? And Axel, if you're just coming out of a mister, why don't you use direct video over HDMI and then use an HDMI adapter to convert it to analog at the end? Hey, if that sounded like I had an attitude, it's because I'm terrified I broke my friend's LaserActive. That was a good question of yours. No attitude meant, buddy. I just trying to get my shit together here. All right. Let's check for beep. We got beep. All right, we don't have beep here. Is that because I can't get the probe in? Or is that because there's shorter cable? All right. No, I'm getting beep from the cable to the ground, to the pin, so that's not it. All right. Looking for the fuse, looking for the fuse. F2? Was the fuse that blew on yours F2? No, never mind. I'm getting tone. All right, I'm at a loss. The cables might not have been in perfectly the first time, but they're all seem to be fine now. Let me check the chat here. The video board, the bit board you see on the top, gets its power from CN1, the middle connector. Okay, so what you might want to look into then, composite or component output, look for component video amps or component video distribution amps. Axel, thanks for a question I could actually answer correctly, unlike this install, which isn't really going my way here. But yeah, that's what you want. And that way it won't add any lag. It should have a gain control, so you should turn the gain control down, then slowly turn it up until it looks right, and that should be fine. and of course, fully shielded cables. So Zaxour just wanted to let me know that he personally tested this one. I think he tests all of them anyway, but I think he personally tested this one before sending it to me, knowing that I was going to be doing a live stream with it, and it worked fine. And he also, since this is the one that he rebuilt, he actually tested this exact LaserActive with this power, either this or another exact one like it. So something's up here. Something is awry. So Leon was kind enough to give me the info that the middle connector is the one that gets the video signals. So I'm going to see if I could tone this out and make sure we're getting for each one. I think I need a poker. Hold on. Where's a thinner poker? Actually, I think I have a fancy one of these too. I have the most random stuff and the most random drawers. I don't understand why that would have been in the same box as soldering equipment. I'm just going to put this over here in a different spot. All right. I know I got pokier pokers here. Not that one, apparently, though. That's a great idea, Leon. I should have to pop that board out anyway, because, sorry to repeat myself for people that were here before, but I originally had this thing sticking out the back, this little booty sticking out, is an RF tap for Doomsday, which was, unbeknownst to me, a stupid idea, because I originally thought, well, it's a LaserActive, you could also use it to rip LaserActive games, but you can't. So I need to remove that anyway. I'm just taking a quick moment to see if I got my longer pokers here, so I could try to get in there. I keep forgetting. You know what? Let me just, sorry to do this on stream, but let me just go to Amazon and go to Dental Tools, because that's what I used to use. All right. I will leave myself a note for that later. Because, yeah, I had some of those left. What the heck happened to all of them? All right. Man, the stuff I'm finding in here that's not dental picks for this. It's hilarious. I didn't even understand it. Oh yeah, I have a $100 pair of snippers for a project that got canceled. They're like super fine pitch, so you could feed them underneath electronics components. I don't even remember the project I bought them for, to be honest with you. So let's see. Is this gonna do? Let me take a look and see if I can get this in there any better. No, I need ones that are pokier. Wish Ash was here. I could blame him like I usually did. Stealing my dental picks again. I found something. Hold on. Well, better than nothing. Let's see what we can do with this. Aha. Okay, I'm not getting tone on that one. Let's see. Am I not getting tone, or is this just not going in all the way? Hold on. Okay, so I could get tone on one of these connectors, but not the other. That's interesting. And that was the last one that went in that looked totally fine. Try again over here. Okay, that one worked. There's like 7 more to go. Okay. Yeah, every one of these is getting tone. Alright, so I gotta swap this out again then. I think because it might be easier, I think I'll pop that top board off just to check, like Leon suggested. Just because I think it's just 4 bolts and not too crazy. But yeah, I gotta try to put the other one back in and see what happens. Right, let me get the camera set back up. Okay, now I'm going to do exactly what Leon said. Plug it in and start licking the connectors until I get signal. While that's obviously a silly joke, does anybody remember that from, I mean, I think it was a decade ago now, but the guy, the repair tech, who was like, yeah, if you want to figure out which signals are which, lick your finger and start feeling around the chip. Like, what? Okay, well, this is kind of cool anyway, because this is where I would go to remove the RF tap for Doomsday. So, oh, my wrong camera view. If you happen to see this, just insert the black probe into one of the screw holes in the metal shell, since the PCBs are all grounded. Then you need to fiddle with the red probe. Yeah, you're right, but I was just being annoyingly pedantic, I guess, because I never mind being wrong and making mistakes. I just want to make sure I get the right information to the right people. Okay, removing this is about as stupidly simple as it gets. Is there anything underneath or anything like that? Do I just pop the sucker out? Alright, let me get this thing out. I don't know. Yeah, you all could see that, right? Okay. What am I caught on here? I don't understand what I'm caught on. This is just the easiest desoldering here, so that's not a problem at all. I'm just wondering what I'm caught on here and why I can't get this 3D printed bracket off. Does the whole thing have to come out? Leon, maybe you've installed the, because I know Zaxour is busy now, but maybe you've installed his S-Video RGB module for the LaserActives. If you're still here, dude, do you remember how to get this thing off? Because it feels like it's connected to anything, but there's no screw, and there's nothing on the inside, and the only clip I see is the clip that holds this electronics board in. But since we're here, and since I want to feel like I've accomplished something, I could at least remove that. So, super, super easy there. Alright, that's up to temp. 1. 2. Alright, stupidly simple. just got to figure out how to get the plastic bit off, but cool. All right. So we get that, and then I could start probing for the video signal. Let's see what else we got here. His kit used one screw. Oh, thank you. I have no idea where that screw could be, though. Let me... There's no screw underneath. There's no screw to the side. The only thing here is this one plastic clip that's obviously built into the LaserActive. Do I have to remove this somehow? Well, you know what? This is one of the rare moments that I don't mind breaking something, but don't worry, it's nothing expensive. Oh, wait. Does the top pop off? Wait a minute. That was not what I expected in a very good way. Does this thing just slide over? Aha. Zero chance I would have figured that out unless I started manhandling it. Okay, cool. That's super easy. And then I could just go in here. That's a Phillips head. That's actually a really good design, as long as you know it's there. Thanks, Leon. Yeah, that's a really good design. Well done, Zaxour. Can I manage to pull that through? No, yeah. All right, sweet. Now I have a really nice BNC cable for the next Laserdisc, the Doomsday Laserdisc install, and I didn't have to cut that case, so I might even be able to reuse it. Sweet. Just have to pop that off. Cool. Well, you know what? Sometimes being a meathead pays off. Not often, though. Really, really not often. Alright, so that's back to normal. Let me screw this back into place. Flex cables come up into here. And down in there as well. So let's just plug this in real quick and make sure we're still in the same boat as we were. It's working. I swear it's working. It looks fine. Tap, 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 tap. Alright, so something's obviously loose then if it's just suddenly working. So let me just start. Tap, tap, tap. No. All right, so I'm just gonna say Leon fixed it. We'll just Leon throwing you a bone, bud. I don't know what on earth just happened, but yeah. Light taps here just to see if there's any loose. I don't understand. I don't know. Let's put this thing back together. I don't get it. I don't know if I want to get it. I think I just want to take the win. As long as it arrives at my friends without any issues. Which, with all respect, he's a realist. He's not going to expect this to show up without any issues whatsoever. That's just not how old electronics work. But I at least I would love to have figured out why that happened, so when he does get it, if it happens again, I can go, oh yeah, just, super easy. Flux capacitor, 88 miles an hour and light speed. You're good to go. Ah, that's right. Those have those little things in there that you slide it into. Okay. And then this has the ground. Come on. Come around and be nice. So I guess, realistically speaking, what could have just happened, and I am pulling this directly out of the deep caverns of my ass here, everybody, but what could have just happened is when I installed the power supply, I tugged a little too hard on the ribbon cable. And then when I opened the side back up and I stretched it back the other way, it kind of just sat in the middle and everything's fine. Anybody, while that is 100% bullshit, and I really just made that up, the reason I thought of that is because anybody that's worked on PC engines, the core graphics, that happens all the time. You'll open up one of those consoles, or it'll be working fine. You'll open it up to do something to it. You'll put it back together, and it won't read the hue cards anymore. So you open it up again, you check everything, you check all the traces, you put it back together, it's fine. You open it up, months later, same thing happens, and it's because those flex cables, as they're bending, just like IDE cables, over time they dry out and crack. So that could very well be it. Ground strap goes above? Oh, well, thank you. I could swear that one was below, but all right. Like that, right? Please tell him he has to buy a DeLorean to fix it, and I'll be the Marty McFly to his dock. That's pretty funny. All right, so I know this is against everything that I always tell everybody, but I am going to put this thing on, sort of, not all the way, and start it up and let it run for a little bit and see what happens. And that way, if it's working, I could bolt this together as it's just kind of running and doing its thing, and then we'll try it again. All right, so composite video in, power supply in, video signal works perfectly. What the fuck? Yeah, see? So I guess let me take a wide back view to this then. And I'll try to keep my giant head out of the way. Remember the rolling shutter on the the rolling that you might see is just the shutter mismatch of. So let me try bolting this sucker back together and seeing what we got. And I guess I should actually let me leave a laser disc in here playing, because it's just the outer case. It's not like I'm messing with internal electronics. Anybody here work on core graphics? That wasn't BS what I just said. I mean, my explanation for this might have been BS, but the core graphics thing was legit. That definitely is something that happens to people. It's crazy. SJF said it's crazy to think of something this side running off a USB-C. Yeah, if it wasn't Zaxour that designed it, I wouldn't be trusting it at all. I just you gotta really know what you're doing to be able to pull stuff like that off. All right, you know what? That's actually totally wrong, and that's why I have such a problem with this. Any idiot could follow a data sheet and make that work. Make it work safely, correctly, where you're not going to destroy your electronics. That's the hard part. So that's the major difference. So that's why when you see all of this USB PD power supply stuff out there, there's one project where you have to program your adapter or something. That just looks like a really great way to blow up all your equipment. Like, you really got to know what you're doing to do this stuff. And I might be wrong, but I strongly think, at least as of now, that mismatching barrel connectors, there's actually less chance of error, because at least your average person knows, like, okay, this is a barrel connector. They all look alike. Let me triple check. Whereas with USB, it's like, oh, it's just USB. I could plug anything into this, right? I'll just use that adapter I get at the gas station. It's all the same, right? Yeah, I'm serious about that. I wasn't being facetious. That's an actual thing. That's an actual project that's out. All right. Did I hit play on this thing yet? Play. Hearing this thing start up is so badass. That whirring, the slow whir build of the laser disc. You're actually playing though, right, Laserdisc? Oh boy. All right. Me. That's not really a great sign, huh? Turning it off. Let me get the last 2 screws in, grab a Genesis controller, and 3 screws, I guess, and hope for the best. I really wouldn't have any other troubleshooting after this other than to put the other PSU back in. If it were mine, I might, but I guess if this were a Sega Genesis or a Super Nintendo, yeah, absolutely. I could troubleshoot the heck out of it, no problem. But for something so expensive, I don't want to learn what to troubleshoot while I'm doing it. I want to send it to somebody who already knows what they're doing. Whereas, it's the same advice I give in the Q&As, right? Sometimes it's best to just leave it to the experts. All right, gonna grab a Genesis controller from somewhere. Well, This isn't a good sign. I could hear it and feel it spinning. Alright, I'm gonna put my tools away, wash my hands, and then try another disc. Obviously I'm washing my hands because I don't want to get any funk all over laser discs or anything. SJF, that's a good question, and I'm not sure. Kyle's a friend of mine. I've been following that project, and my plan was always to, once it's just about ready for order, do an interview, talk about it, and have all of that stuff answered. But I got nothing at the moment, so sorry about that. But yeah, that's looking like a promising project. That's another one where if it were anybody but Kyle, I would just have laughed at that idea. And any guitarist that's ever played a live gig ever doesn't even need me to explain what I'm about to say, in that anybody that's ever used one of those multi-DC adapters for your guitar pedals, you immediately get that hum 99% of the time. It always works fine in the store, but then you bring it to a gig with some crappy power somewhere, and that's always what happens, because it takes a lot. Same thing with the USB analogy. To make a multi-output DC adapter is easy. To make it work right is not. So that's another one where if it wasn't Kyle, I would just be like, no, definitely not. Don't even want to talk about it. But I'll absolutely try that one out, and I bet it's good too. All right. Let's hit eject. So this worked when we started the stream, but let's just take a step back here for a moment and let's see what else we could do here. Let's start with something a little bit easier. The reason I play guitar. Yeah, nothing. Same thing. So okay, this isn't good. So I'm using this Anchor USB PD supply. And this is the one that was verified by Zaxour. Start and spin, stop. Oh, I'm talking without the mic. What an idiot. It's starting to spin, then stop, then starting to spin, then stop. Yeah, thanks, SJF. I was actually talking about that before, wondering if this was um, a good idea for laser discs or not. Okay, so all right, what do you all vote I do? Should I take it apart again? And I'm going to take it apart again, and I'm going to double check the ribbon cables one last time. And I could either put the original PSU back in or send it as is to Zaxour and see what he's going to do. And hire him, by the way. Not send it back like a douchebag and be like, oh, it doesn't work, you have to fix it. Hire him. My friend and I are both completely aware of what having retro tech is like. There's no, absolutely, no illusions of a player like this having other issues. So, not a problem there. Okay. One last check, and we'll see. Where'd my CD case go? Oh, over here. It did work before before I did the swap. My gut's telling me it's those ribbon cables for the same reason that I just talked about, where you run into that issue with core duos. But I don't know anything about LaserActives, so it's very likely that that's just not even remotely close to true. But it definitely makes sense to my nerd brain, that's for sure. Same with IDE cables. Any fellow old nerds here? That's happened before tons of times with IDE cables. No video issue now. So, okay. I think I should try a CD again. I don't know why. Like in my head it's because it's smaller or something, but whatever. That's probably stupid. CD spinning up. It's a bit slow, real slow. But we are actually getting something on screen now where we weren't before. Thanks, Leon. Leon just warned me that it's actually a real pain to put the original power supply back in. Alright, so we're getting something on the screen now where we were getting nothing before. The CD is spinning. We're supposed to get some kind of controls menu up here, right? I guess I could plug some sound in just to see. Oh, we are playing. Okay. Are we ejecting? I wasn't kidding, by the way, though. It's I always knew I loved music. I always thought I wanted to be a singer until I saw Slash walk up on the piano for the November Rain solo. I was like, oh, maybe I want to be a guitarist. And then I heard that album, and I was like, no, I don't want to be a guitarist. I have to. It is absolutely me. I get it now. I get what was missing. Odd that I haven't played in like a year, but yeah, that was a life-changing moment. Okay. Oh, no CD is just a blue screen. All right, cool, cool. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and look what we got. Well, since I would have never in a million years done this anyway, shaky cam warning, everybody. Here is a laser disc spinning. You don't even realize it's spinning because the whole thing is clear. Let me just grab this. No, of course, I'm not that stupid. Okay, well, so all I did when I opened that back up, the only thing I did was like mush the cable into a different spot, and that was it. That was the only thing I did. So that I think my complete BS guess is actually correct. I think that's the exact issue that we're seeing here, is these old ribbon cables are cracked and frayed and stuff. So, what is your all opinion? Leon, you too, buddy. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. So my opinion on this before I did this mod was, if you're somebody who's a collector who wants to use these things and keep them forever and preserve them, maybe put the USB power supply in now and always have the original in case you need it. But with the ribbon cable, if this is actually an issue that people run into, if this is something that, you know, is going to start to be a thing, I wonder if buying the power supply to have on hand, but waiting until it actually dies is a better idea. Because maybe you might have to replace the ribbon cable too. Or maybe I screwed something up, but I tried to get this camera deep in there, and I even went in with the magnifying glass headset, and I don't really think I got anything wrong any of those times. I think the first 2 or 3, you know, because I plugged them in 4 times, I think the first 2 or 3 times I plugged them in, I could have done it. I think I did it better the last time, but I don't actually think I got anything wrong. Which anybody that watches these streams know I don't have any problem saying it was all my fault, but I think this was more about the flex cable than anything else. Ribbon cable. Why am I off? What the heck? That's weird. There's nothing in its way. The screw just popped out twice. Huh, maybe I had it at an angle. It's I'll show you the screen in a second, but it is still working on the CRT. Some of the screws just aren't catching. I wonder if they're just super old. Let me grab my other screwdriver and do it by hand. Well, thanks, Adrian, but I don't know what happened, so I get no credit for this whatsoever. The game is still playing, by the way. I just want to try to get these screws in. Maybe there's something wrong with that one screw. Yeah, good chance that one screw is just a little messed up. Come back and look at that in a sec. Oh, I had the wrong screw. What a total dork. I had the screw for when I was taking apart my PC last night. I went to do another Unraid migration from one server to another. And I've done that so many times, and there's always issues, but there's always like an hour worth of issues that are annoying. Like the server still works, but the VM needs tweaking or just something not important at all. And last night was the opposite. It was like total fails. All right, so how do you stop this thing? Anybody remember how it... Was there like a special stop thing on this? It's funny, there's no stop. All right. So that's working. Let me eject. All right, so I hate that I have to do this, but here's what I have to do. All right, powering this thing off. So I am about to put this thing into a box, and it's going to be very well packed, by the way. Very, very, very well packed. But this is inevitably still going to happen. And let's hope that nobody, like, drops the box. I don't even put fragile on the boxes anymore because I know so many douchebags over the years that see fragile and just throw the box out the back of the truck. I wish I was kidding about that, but I am absolutely not in any way. All right. Grab another laser disc. And that's working. Y'all can see it up top. Well, I'll wait for it to boot. I'll talk to Zaxour again later, but unless somebody convinces me otherwise, what I strongly think happened is the core graphics scenario. Okay. Well, I guess I'm calling this one. Anybody got any other questions before I call it a day here? I'll clean up a little bit just in case anybody does have any questions, but for the most part, everything's already where it's supposed to be. That was unnerving. I'm not gonna lie. That should have been the easiest install in the world, and I'm pretty sure those flex cables really got me. I'm gonna go drink some beer tonight and pretend that didn't happen. I really thought for sure. I was like, oh, did you just ruin your friend's LaserActive? Is he gonna have to hunt down another one, get another one over to Zach? But nope. As for Zaxour's kit, couldn't really get any easier in a scenario like that. By far the worst part of the kit. I mean, by far was those flex cables. Even if that didn't happen, even if I plugged it in and it worked on the first try with no issues, that's still a terrible design. And I could completely understand how engineers could have gotten to that point. But I'm so glad they were smart enough to move past it. All right, this is a win. I'm going to eject this stuff and get out of here. Oh, that's right. You got to power it off and power it back on to get it out. Well, cool. Thanks, everybody, for keeping me company. Thank you, Leon. I appreciate the extra support. Sometimes you just need somebody to get your back like that. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it. This is so much more fun with you, even when it's nerve-wracking. So I will see you next time. In the next stream I'm doing, I think it's going to be a little more lighthearted, because if I break every single thing in the stream, I